as an overview, if we look at what this diagram says, then we have the golden path. We have it here also symbolized here as a flower. So hierarchy, if you imagine that, perhaps representing hierarchy with its causal body, if you like, as well, because the same implies for all entities, really. So here we have it symbolized. So hierarchy as the golden path, which is an eternal loop. So you just remember this path itself is an infinite that goes to the source and then comes back again. And imagine this as looping across, back to the source, coming out into cosmos, and then back out again, making a great lotus in space. Now, it's exciting to think, if we moved a little bit to science for just a brief moment, was to think that globular nebulas of stars move in that pattern through cosmos in actual physical plain fact. So it's a lovely analogy there with something that exists in space, and here we have esotericism referred to. So okay, we have hierarchy. We have here represented at the center again, but in the center of light, of whiteness, we have, think of the blue-white light, or the white that is so white that it looks semi-blue. So we have 7 major ashrams within Shamballa, if you like. There's a lot more there, obviously, but we could imagine it here symbolized. And above it, we could imagine that that's the sun, our solar logos, our source of vitality, of energy, of prana, of life. And then above it, that blue one might be considered Sirius. And again, we have the whiteness that is so white, it can be blue. And Sirius as the star, which is massively larger and greater than our sun, and is said to be the source of the higher counsel for humanity, for the guidance on the planet. So Sirian energy is the source of love and wisdom for us. So we could say that this is the source of all love on the planet as it pours through what's called the Blue Lodge, which is considered to be the lodge of the senior masters and teachers. And we could say that our sun, though it is we see it as a golden and sometimes white and gold radiance, almost orange really at times, is considered to be the blue logos esoterically. Now on to the side of it, we see these other globes, and here they're representing, I believe, on this side we have the spirit of peace, an entity which is said to come into range with humanity when humanity has a great need. So we can think of it as a being, a great being, not unlike the Buddha, but perhaps even greater, we don't know, that will help us in some major way to bring the concept of peace. So a spirit of peace, with its wings of great expanse, comes to sweep away the destructiveness on the planet. So it's an interesting entity which should come into human consciousness more and more. So that's the exciting thing about this study, is that we have this whole process of new and incoming energies which are affecting the overall consciousness of mankind. So on the other side we have a white globe, this time representing the Lord Buddha. And thinking of Buddha as wisdom, of compassion, as the guiding light for humanity in terms of illumination, compassion, wisdom, coming into the world and coming here at every Wesak to inspire. So the Buddha then has been carrying that work really on for quite a couple of thousand years and more. And so here we have this incredible triangle of energies of the Shamballa. We have hierarchy, we have the sun, or we have the earth. There's triangles both ways, both directions, and then we have this Sirius Spirit of Peace and the Lord Buddha. Now they actually form a great triangle, and they are upholding energies for the Christ actually. So we have the avatar of synthesis coming towards the earth and actually already impacting us. So the avatar of synthesis is an even greater being. So as the word implies, synthesis is the fine-tuning, the absolute refining of all talents and energies and goodness, if you like, in mankind into something much greater. So this energy of universality, of oneness, of love, is coming into mankind's consciousness, into our consciousness. And it's coming via Sirius, as far as we understand. And so Sirius, so we have the avatar synthesis coming through Sirius. You remember the lodge is there, all that support. We have the Spirit of Peace on one side, Lord of Buddha on the other, and coming through the Christ, the planetary heart. So think of the planetary heart himself as the Christ. But the hierarchy then is the planetary heart, and with the Christ at the center of that. So now we come to something quite exciting and rather charming. So we have these dragons of wisdom, and here we have a closer one, a blue dragon with gold, and they're coming from higher up in the cosmos, and I imagine they're teachers or masters coming in to aid humanity. And so we have this gold one with blue, second ray of love, wisdom. And then we have the white dragon of wisdom. And again, remember, these are masters, great sages who are coming from extraplanetary sources, coming to aid humanity. And they carry with them the pearl of, priceless pearl, if you like, of wisdom, compassion, and so on. So they come to help, and this one is coming through the wheel of Shiva. So it makes you wonder exactly what that energy is. It is white here, and it could be the first ray of will and power, or it could be a synthetic ray, for all we know. So we come to the final stages of this particular Thangka, and it is the visit to the sun. So you imagine the disciple has traversed this long journey and is now ready to return. And so basically it means actually going back into the sun. The theory is that the monads have their home in the sun, and that the causal body is the heart of the monad. The lotus is actually the heart center of the monad itself, and the monads have their home in the sun. So what happens is that they are drawn closer and closer to the Father's home, going back to the source, going back to the inner home, and into the sun. So the monads eventually make their way into the sun and are drawn in by streams of plasma from the sun energetically, and this is an exciting next story, and the next Thangka will actually have the esoteric science combined with traditional science, astrophysics, and electromagnetism. So we'll talk again.